Hi, and welcome to the 2014 Amgen Tour of California on bicycling.com. This is our race radio analysis. I'm Joe Lindsay. I'm joined by Frankie Andreu, and we're here at the finish of Stage 3. It was a 108-mile ride, the race's second longest, from San Jose to the first summit finish of the race on Mount Diablo. And it was a really hot day today, temperatures in the upper 90s. Guys were definitely suffering out there. And they were suffering because at the start they had to climb right out of the gate, one of the bigger climbs that this race will really ever go over, and that was Mount Hamilton. It was nice to see a break go away there, and Will Ratley from Optum was in that move and kept his that allowed him to keep his KOM jersey. But really, Frankie, things kind of proceeding textbook as far as that early break getting away and riding tempo behind him.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. I mean, Will Ratley has gotten in the break every single day. Granted, yesterday was the time trial,
sure,
but it's not easy to get into the break, and he's managed to get up there to be able to get those KOM points. So he managed to keep the lead by the finish, has 18 points. So a nice job by him. But like you said, a group of 7, Sky with Danny, Peyton, Dombrowski, and Boswell, all these guys riding, Nathan Earl, all riding, just keeping it tempo, keeping it steady until they got closer to the finish, which of course is a tough Diablo climb. And everybody keeps saying, oh, the climb's not that bad, not that bad. It looked pretty hard.
Yeah. It's hard. It's hard at the end of a 108-mile stage when it's 95 degrees out and your guys have been riding tempo in the front all day. And so, you know, the breakaway was never really any kind of threat. They never had more than 5 or so minutes. They were going to need a lot more than that to stay away. So Sky rides tempo into the bottom of the climb, and then with about 8K to go, it seemed like they were gone. And all of a sudden, Wigo was on his own, just really having to ride tempo. And he looked really smooth, but you kept wondering, like, what's going to happen? Are guys going to attack? Guys going to attack? And eventually they started to.
Well, eventually, like what, 500 meters from the line? Or
no,
I mean, Carter Jones was the first to go, and credit, you know, he decided not to wait and decided to go. But the tempo, I mean, Bradley Wiggins is riding on the front. I mean, he's setting a tempo that's, you know, going to be uncomfortable for everyone, no matter what. So they had to wait. Plus the guys, anybody who's up there, are strong guys. They want to keep their places on GC or move up on GC, so they're not going to extend themselves out 4K from the finish. You're going to wait till a K to go, 500 meters to go, and that's what, you know, Azevedo went.
Wiggins was on him.
Wiggins
so fast.
brought him back right
so
away,
fast.
And then that's when Rohan went, and a great ride, you know, to be able to take the win. So for Garmin, having a stage win with Dennis Rohan, cut Bradley Wiggins' lead in half. Yeah. Bam! 20 seconds gone.
Sliced it off like that.
So now it's a lot
300
closer.
meters of climbing. So, and the thing that's interesting about that is that the mountain high climb that's at stage 6 on Friday, it's much harder than this, from what people say. It's longer, and there's a longer run into it, and it's a little bit steeper. And you saw a preview of that today, where you had some explosive moves there. So they're not going to be able to do that kind of attack, you know, from 3K out and sustain that kind of thing. But you could see that Wiggins today, if it's possible to isolate him without his teammates, then yes, he can be vulnerable. It's a little bit tricky because he's not going to give him the kind of lead out that he did today. But there's definitely...
But they're going to ride against him.
They're going to
sit back and they're going to make the yellow jersey of Bradley Wiggins do everything.
Absolutely.
And so for some of the other guys, it worked out. I mean, Peter Stetina, I mean, he did a good ride.
He did a good ride today.
Stetina went from 42nd to 6th place. Yates went from 34th to 5th place. So these guys moved up. Yeah. And then Terrell, who was on Jameis, this guy just plummeted. He disappeared.
Yeah, he was good in the time
trial,
trial, and today he's gone.
I don't know where he went to. He went to 58th place, and so I was surprised to see that. But Carter Jones, a fantastic ride to get 6th.
Yes,
and you mentioned,
absolutely.
Joe, all the top placings, they're not exactly old dudes.
Yeah, exactly. So first place, third place, and fourth place, you've got Dennis, you've got Yates, you've got Lawson Craddock. All these guys are 23 or younger. In Yates' case, I think he's 21. So this is, you know, obviously the youth will be served today on Diablo,
yeah.
And I think that'll happen again on the stage 6. But you know, shifting gears to tomorrow.
I was about to say, let's get to 5. We can't jump ahead to 6.
No, we can't get to. We got to go through 4 and 5. So stage 4 tomorrow. I think, you know, things here will cool down a little bit for the GC, because tomorrow's stage is it's 102 miles. It's going to be kind of like this classic sort of California tourism advertising campaign kind of stage. They go down the coast almost entirely on Pacific Coast Highway from Monterey to Cambria. There's a few climbs.
You make it sound like it's going to be so easy. I mean,
it is.
No, it could be windy, it's twisty, it's up and down all day. It's not easy. It's a long day. And for Sky to ride all of that the whole time is going to be difficult. And even sitting in if the wind picks up at all, it could be a very rough day. So it's not, you make it sound like they just put up the legs and kind of grow on, you know, like it's a Grand Fondo and we'll get some bananas on the side of the road and we'll get to the finish.
They might stop and get some,
it's
maybe some orange wedges or something.
It'll be
like
tough.
that.
It'll be a tough day.
It will be tough. The winds, however, are going to be crossed to probably slightly tail, so they will have that going for them. There are climbs that is up and down all day, but there's nothing serious in terms of the climbs, and the last 20 miles are definitely things kind of calm down a little bit for that. So
is a break going to make it, or do you think a group sprint?
I would say a break's going to make it tomorrow. That's my feeling.
I'm going group sprint.
Okay, so who's your pick for the group sprint?
Who's your pick for the break?
Volt.
Who?
Jens. He's talking about going. It's a good stage for him.
I saw him at the finish today at the top.
Was he cooked?
He collapsed at the finish. I'm not even sure if he was going hard. Jens always goes hard. That's how he is.
Yeah.
I'll go Sagan for tomorrow in the group sprint.
All right, so there's your picks. We're on the record. Join us tomorrow and see who got it right and who got it wrong.
I'll be right. All right.
Dennis Rohan.
Rohan Dennis.
Yeah, I think called him Dennis Rohan.
Yeah, but it's Dennis, comma, Rohan.
On the sheet.
Yeah, and that's what I read. Yeah, I go by the sheet. Dennis Rohan. When I do the interview with him, I'm like, hey, Rohan, what's up? But when I'm talking about him, it's like Dennis Rohan, Mr. President, stage winner. That's how it goes.